you doing?
As long as the beer is filled, I'm doing great.
All right.
My IRE today was a millionaire at the age of 40.
Whoa.
I have 3 years to get to that.
Good luck with that.
You have 6, so.
Yeah, I don't see that being likely.
We got to start playing last scratch-offs.
Yeah.
See what we can do.
No, money does not buy happiness, and I consider myself a very happy person.
Yes, money can't buy happiness, but you know what? I'd love to give it a try.
Toast to that.
Now that's good history.
Welcome back to Toast to History. Today's honoree has a very special place in my heart. He is the first president that I remember growing up. Even when I was in elementary school, they had a mock election to see who we wanted to be president, to teach us the right of voting and how to vote. And it was George Herbert Walker Bush versus Bill Clinton. And even back then, we were learning politics. I voted for George H.W. Bush. I am actually a Democrat. Sorry. But I watched the two and I liked him better. So sue me. So, today, we're going to go over the stuff you didn't know about George H.W. Bush. George Herbert Walker Bush was the 41st President of the United States. He was Vice President to Ronald Reagan. He was the Director of Central Intelligence Agency. He was the Chief Liaison to the Office of the Republic of China under President Ford. He was the Chair of the Republican National Committee. He was the United States Ambassador to the UN. He was a U.S. Representative from Texas. His military service, he was in the Navy, going to the rank of lieutenant. He served in World War II and was a decorated veteran. George H.W. Bush was born in New England. I know all you think, Texas. Yes, that's where he lived most of his life. That's where most of his major stuff happened. But he was actually born in New England. Now he marries Barbara Pierce. They have 2 daughters and 4 sons together, but they lose one of their daughters, Robin, at a very young age. And George Bush, in his own words, said he prayed for her daily. A lot of people gave George H.W. Bush hell because of his nasally voice, his very monotone, and the fact that he lacked emotion. And they said, yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got to have a dummy. This man graduates from Yale University with honors, by the way. Honors. They don't just hand those out at Yale. For economics. Economics. That might be a good thing to know when you're president of the United States. Yale, huh? Well, it's no Harvard, but it'll do. Now, George H.W. Bush leaves college. Not Yale, he's not there yet, but he leaves college because World War II breaks out and he wants to serve his country. And he joins the Navy. We got another Navy man on the show, everybody. We had Kennedy. Now we have George H.W. Bush. He becomes a fighter pilot for the Navy. Now, we find out that he believes during then he was the youngest fighter pilot ever to do World War II. Now, records have come out, and he was the second. One guy beat him by 10 days. But still, that's pretty freaking impressive. 18 years old. I haven't even walked across the stage at 18 for my high school diploma, and he's in a plane fighting down Japanese. He fights in 58 combat missions. He gets shot down and has to bail out, and 2 members in the plane with him die. His own son, during his eulogy, George W. Bush, says he thought about these guys daily. Why did I make it? And they both died. And it pushed him. I lived for a reason. And not only am I doing it for my family, am I not doing it for the American people, I'm doing it for these two. They died so I could live. And he becomes a decorated veteran. You're a father, a good husband, a decorated vet, Yale grad, did about every position in politics you possibly could do. What didn't you do, man? You lived a hell of a life. He moved to Texas to have a career in the oil industry. And that's where he makes his big money. From military to Yale to big oil money. Texas. Who knew? George Bush's presidency started off like any other fairy tale. You have Ronald Reagan leaving office after his 8 years. And you see him get on a plane, and Reagan flies off to the sunset. And now, George, it's your turn, and you got some big shoes to fill. Most of his thing goes on foreign policy. The Invasion of Panama. There was a small election in Panama, and the one side who lost that was in power. And they didn't think it was cool, and they're like, nah, that's not cool. We're going to stay. And Bush is like, no, wait a minute. You lost, and then we go on there and say no and put the right side in. As we heard Reagan say, Gorbachev, tear down this wall. But in his presidency, it doesn't get torn down. In his presidency, it does. The final bricks are torn down while George H.W. Bush is in office. Now, his biggest accomplishment while his presidency was the Gulf War, which he called Operation Desert Storm, where Saddam Hussein thought he was a badass and invades little Kuwait for oil. But George H.W. Bush, no, that's not cool, man. We can't let you do this. And in the UN, which he was also a part of at one time, decided to get some allies, and we went in there and we pushed him out. I remember I collect the little cards, Desert Storm cards. Hey, Mom, you remember those Desert Storm cards I had when I was younger? Yeah. I think they're in the attic. 'Cause I need them, Mom. I'm working here. This man passed the American Disabilities Act. No, you cannot discriminate against someone because they're disabled. You need to find a place for them. They can work too. This man creates an award called the Daily Points of Light for that person every day who's working to make life better, working to make America a better place. He gives out awards, and over thousands have been given out to this day. The award keeps going on. So, have you made life better for your American people today? Keep up the good work. Maybe you'll get one of these. Now, George H.W. Bush runs for re-election. He faces Bill Clinton. It's a tight race. He loses. Ross Perot splits the vote. So Bill Clinton becomes your president. He leaves office. Now, what's a president to do? He goes into retirement. He goes away from politics. But, like his award states, Points of Light Award, he decided he wanted to make things better. Not politically, but make things better around him. 2005, Hurricane Katrina hits and ravages Florida, Louisiana, and the Texas coast, right in his backyard. So he goes and raises $100 million with an unlikely partner, Bill Clinton, the man who defeated him. We talk about walking across the aisle, Republicans and Democrats getting together. This man gets together with the man who defeated him for presidency, and they raise $100 million for a good cause. What the hell is going on in Congress? These two men who should have been bitter rivalries and biting at the teeth of each other can work together for a good cause. In 2011, Obama awards President Bush with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Like his points of light is somebody who does good and significant, and the president recognizes it. Now you can tell George H.W. Bush recognized it. He's happy about it, shakes hands, smiles, but you can just tell he's like, I'm doing this for the good of the country, the good of my backyard. I'm not looking for an award. I'm a millionaire. Why do I need this award? But he takes it, he accepts it anyway, because he's a class act. If you look at the eulogy said by George W. Bush at his funeral, his dad is passing away. They call him because he's at a distance, he can't come there. And he calls, and the doctors even say, we know he can hear you, but we don't know if he's able to speak. So he calls and says, Dad, I love you. The last words we will know because of his testimony is, I love you too. And here passes, at 94, George Herbert Walker Bush. 2018, at his home at the age of 94, he's buried at grounds at his presidential library, right beside his wife Barbara, who died earlier that year, and his daughter Robin, who, as we told you earlier in the show, passed away at a very young age. We miss you, man. Now, we could use you and Bill to talk some sense in Congress today. There's no more talking across the aisle, there's yelling across the aisle. Now to the fun facts, the things you did not hear about President George Herbert Walker Bush in your history books. He's the first president since Martin Van Buren. For those keeping score at home, that's 8. President 8, people. To be voted in the president while serving as the vice. 41. 8. Vice presidents have not had a very good track record in my books. Now we have Joe, though. But he wasn't seating. Doesn't count. He's the first president that was the director of the CIA as well. Man nearly died twice. As a teenager, from a staph infection, and then when he was shot down in World War II. There were 2 instances where we might not have had the 41st President of the United States. This man was married to Barbara Bush for 73 years. She died in 2018, and still to this day, they are the longest couple that ever served as president. Wow. 73 years. It's going to be 7 for me this year. I can't imagine 73 years with no scandals, no divorce, a good, happy marriage. What is that? I'm on year 7 of my marriage. You lasted 73. I wish I knew your secret, because I have 66 more years to go. And as we told you, he was great friends with Bill Clinton. George W. Bush said it was kind of his brother from another mother circle. The man who beat him for president, you'd think, wow, how did you guys become friends? You won another term. You thought you did a good job, and this man stole the job from you. And they were buddies about it. I would have loved to be in a corner of a bar when these two drank together and hear these stories. I'd love to hear it. To George Herbert Walker Bush, this man has served our country since the age of 18. This man has been a beacon of light for everybody around him. He felt he needed to be better because of the two people who died when he got shut down. He felt he needed to live up to the daughter he lost when he at an early age. His sons became governor of Florida and president of the United States. He's shown he's a good father, married to the same woman for 73 years, showing he was a good husband with no scandals. This man has been a beacon of light for anybody who is willing to look into it. Showing people that it's not about you, it's about the people who you view around you. This man served in the military, Yale graduate, President of the United States. This man's accolades talk for themselves. He does not need to look to nobody. To President George H.W. Bush, we love you too. Read my lips. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Now that's good history.